Hello down here.
Hola, everybody, this is Atticus the Death Metaler, and by the time that I am shooting this video right now before I upload this on video, it is Cinco de Mayo. So to all of my Mexican viewers watching this, salud, happy feliz Cinco de Mayo, even though you guys don't really celebrate it technically, but salud! So funny enough that I am talking about Cinco de Mayo, shooting this on Cinco de Mayo, and that the title of this video is, in a way, about cultural appropriation. So, in many ways, yes, this video is going to be dissecting onto the topic of cultural appropriation. Now, overall on my channel, I've never really touched up on a video on the topic of cultural appropriation. Now, I did mention cultural appropriation, I believe, a couple times onto my channel, but I do know recently I did mention a bit of cultural appropriation on my Nords be Nazis Yo video, which will be down on the description below. But this is the first time that I, Atticus the Death Metaler, will be making a video on cultural appropriation. So let's just dive down to it now, shall we? As a filthy, cis-het, fucking white male that is literally Hitler growing up in America, there was this term that all of us were told at a very young age, that America was the great melting pot, as in a great melting pot of just many cultures, traditions, ethnicities, and backgrounds, and it was known as, you know, the great melting pot, the great American experiment. And I have been taught that for as long as my entire life. But then around in 2015, I have heard the term cultural appropriation, all thanks to our favorite black SJW, Francesca Ramsey, off of MTV's Decoded. Now, I watched the video that she made on cultural appropriation, and I just had to say, let's just say that when I was at a college class, when I was watching this on my free time, I was cringing the hell on over. Now, upon first hearing and seeing what cultural appropriation was about, I thought it was honestly just insanely preposterous and ridiculous, because as I said before, America's the greatest melting pot out there, where we share cultures, traditions, and learn from each other. That was what I was taught many years ago, until at that point when I was in college. But then I realized that people were drinking the PC SJW cultural Marxist Kool-Aid for far too long, and therefore you had such incidents and articles that kept pumping out onto cultural appropriation, and my god, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. My god, what a time to be alive. Like, it was so bad to the point of, like, dreadlocks, Halloween costumes, certain type of clothings and stuff. It was preposterous and absolutely ridiculous. Granted, during last year, like, all the cultural appropriation shit died down. Yes, there were some shit going on onto cultural appropriation up until right now. So essentially, when I first heard about this whole subject, I heard it first from H3H3 Productions, which they did a phenomenal video on, as well as Ashton Birdie's video onto this whole subject.
So woke!
I got the perspective of someone who is of the left side and someone who is of the right side, so I got to see both sides of the spectrum on how they felt about this issue. Now, originally I was not going to talk about this subject, but just having to think about the shit and how I felt about cultural appropriation, I thought, fuck it, why the fuck not? So here we are right now. Now granted, I know I'm a little bit late onto this subject, but that gives me enough time to gather my thoughts and opinions onto this whole situation going on. So basically the whole scoop is that this this really lovely high school girl has gotten a prom dress, a Chinese dress, and honestly, when I first saw her with the dress, I thought, wow, she really slayed it and stuff. And, she was just having a ball, having a great time with all of her friends. That's like, what every other high schooler does with prom and stuff. So, naturally, it was just very tame. She was rocking it and all this other stuff. Then one motherfucker decided to go onto Twitter, call her out, and say, "My culture is not your goddamn prom dress." And I know most of you people are going to be saying this, Atticus the Death Metaler, why are you getting so worked up about this whole situation? I mean, it's just some stupid dumbass calling some girl out on a prom dress. Well, yeah, it would have been like that, but H383 pointed it out that the tweet onto their video got over 157,745 likes on that tweet. So I went a little bit digging and I discovered the tweet, and lo and behold, it went up from 157,000 to 178,914 likes. This just goes to show that a lot of people, are fine with, this whole mentality of, calling people out, being fucking dickheads, and saying, "Oh, you're wearing this dress and you cannot do that. That's cultural appropriation." I mean, even though it is a prom that she was going at, it was probably, one of the best nights of her life. And this one motherfucker decided to just slam the fuck out of her for just enjoying her time. Now, granted, yes, it's a prom night, but, it was her time and stuff. I mean, I remember my prom. I was rocking my tuxedo along with my date. And yeah, it was a really fun prom and stuff, and that's just the very thing right there. You might think it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a big deal when it comes to high schoolers and stuff. It's the time of their lives. Just let them have fucking fun. Not just fucking smear your fucking feces all over this poor girl that was just, minding her own business and shit. And just like, with Ashton and Ethan and Gila, they did the very thing that I'm doing right now. They did a little bit of digging onto Twitter along with a bunch of other people. And, this one gold tweet right there is what I'm going to be talking about. "I'm eating tamales with chopsticks. This is why America was founded." And I agree. That's kind of why America was founded. And I've said this a couple times onto this video that I'm shooting right now. America is the great melting pot. But oh, it's the great American melting pot for you as a Chinese American doing that kind of shit. But God fucking forbid if I do the very same thing. I am basically Charlottesville in the flesh. But then I went a little bit deeper and found this tweet right here.
Say nigger.
Also, one thing I forgot to bring up onto this video is the fucking fact that the Chinese were absolutely okay with this girl's choice of prom attire. I could say the same thing with the Japanese, like having all Americans just obsess over Japanese culture. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation to this Jeremy motherfucker right here. But oh, Jeremy, oh no, Jerry Bear, I am not done with you yet. Judging upon your profile picture on your Twitter, I see that you are wearing an Adidas hat. You're appropriating my people, Jeremy! You're appropriating my Slavs! Now, just a bit of a clarification right here. I'm not just, blasting onto Jeremy just for out of spite. or ill intent. I'm just doing this just to prove a point here, because it is ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous that you are going around just doing this behavior onto a girl that was that just bought a wonderful, beautiful, lovely prom dress, and she stood out with her friends at that night, and you just decided to just take such a humongous offense to that you just decided to just blow her up onto the fucking internet. That is fucking disgusting. And the fact that a lot of people are going after you, just it's kind of vice versa in some way. So it's like, if it's okay for you to make those remarks onto a girl, then why the fuck are you wearing like a fucking Adidas hat and eating tamales with fucking chopsticks and saying the fucking N-word like there's no fucking problem like right there? Like you think oh, the whole sharing of cultures only applies to people of different races, but when it's me as a white person, oh, it's a big fucking no-no. It is, I'm like committing 3 holocausts by doing that. If you people are so hell-bent and just wanting to just wipe away cultural appropriation off the map, if you think that you're doing such a good deed into taking, all of cultural appropriation out of the picture and shit, why not just be more consistent by just doing the following? And I made a fucking list for all you motherfuckers that say that cultural appropriation is so messed up and such a humongous calamity amongst the world. And here's this list that I provide for you motherfuckers. Stop drinking German beer. Stop dancing to Italian ballet. Stop eating Italian food including pizza. Stop dyeing your hair blonde. Stop learning about mathematics, science, geography, philosophy, appropriating the Greeks. Stop promoting democracy. Stop getting Viking tattoos. Stop taking medicine. You're obviously appropriating the Greeks again. Stop wearing jeans. Stop listening to country and folk music, which was started off by the Celts. And also, stop speaking English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese, because obviously those were the major, Western countries that, brought out their cultures around in the world. So if you're consistent on trying to stop cultural appropriation, you should fucking stop speaking their languages as well. You got that, buddies? Also, another thing, Jeremy, since you're Chinese and all, do you also know for a factor that your martial arts of Kung Fu wouldn't be Kung Fu without the help of a really legendary Greek man by the name of Alexander the Great? If you don't believe me, I have this little clip right here.
His soldiers would have trained in the Greek martial art of pankration and brought their knowledge with them as they conquered. Some historians credit Alexander with spreading pankration to India following his invasion in 326 BC. From India, Buddhist monks may have brought aspects of the art to China, which in turn planted the seed for all Asian martial arts, including Kung Fu, Karate, and Muay Thai.
In a way, a lot of the great Asian martial arts like Jiu-Jitsu, Bridal Saray, Muay Thai, and Kung Fu, all those martial arts from Asia wouldn't be possible without Alexander the Great. Now, I'm not trying to say that, oh, without white people, all these Asian martial arts wouldn't happen. The point that I'm trying to say here is that for thousands of years, lots of ethnicities and people groups and empires and a lot of other tribes and groups of people have been sharing cultures, implementing them, adopting them, and bringing their own spin on the table and stuff. People have been doing this for thousands of years. And why the fuck are you going around saying that, oh, that you can't do this because it's my culture and you can't do that, and if you do that, you're fucking racist? I think cultures, even though we are very different, I think a lot of cultures are very unique in their own ways, and I think sharing them and learning about other people's cultures is really fascinating and really amazing to me. But personally, what I love the most is not only learning from other people and their cultures, it's when I have to learn about my roots and my cultures myself. I mean, I take my Polish heritage very seriously, and I am doing my very best into actually learning, you know, some Polish recipes. Last year around Christmas, I made a Polish stew of bigos, which took a lot of labor and a lot of love for me and a lot of Slav squatting, but I managed to actually make a really good stew of bigos at my job's Christmas party, and for a first time making it, everyone fucking loved it. And I plan doing that for every Christmas, and I hope to continue on this tradition until I start a family of my own and I could, you know, implement all that stuff to my future children. And that is what I love about, you know, learning from my roots, my culture, my heritage, and then passing it on to my future children and passing it on to other friends as well. And that's just the beauty of how I feel about culture and all that stuff. And I think it is also beautiful that we have all these people that are integrated, perfectly assimilated into this great American experiment, and where we could actually learn from each other. And I understand that the political climate is just absolutely just poor, piss poor, but there are still a few good people from different ethnicities, different backgrounds that I meet in everyday life, and we learn from each other, learn from our language, our traditions, our culinary cultures, all that stuff. Don't be afraid to learn from one another, because it might surprise you and shit like that. You know, for people that are all about preaching about tolerance, acceptance, multiculturalism, and diversity, you sure do hell promote the ever-loving fuck out of monoculturalism, saying that, you know, every ethnic group in America should just be separated in their own fucking ghettos and shit. Not like it's bad enough that we have the alt-right where Matthew Heimbach and Richard Spencer are preaching about their ethno-state, but you also have, you know, black supremacists wanting their own fucking ethno-state and shit like that. I mean, it's bad enough that we have these people right here, and the fact that you have these people that are all about, you know, multiculturalism, tolerance, love, and acceptance, but you come off as some really cunty, spiteful motherfuckers that care not only about, you know, protecting other people's culture, you care more about monoculturalism just as much as the alt-right does, you fucking morons. So, chavala, Jeremy, chavala for giving me a good daily dose of cringe from yours truly and stuff. And in the meantime, I'm gonna continue on celebrating Cinco de Mayo, drinking more Modelo Especials, and, you know, just fucking celebrating the 5th of May, just for the fun of it. Oh, and by the way, I am pretty sure I know what the fuck Cinco de Mayo is about. It's basically the Mexicans' version of 300, where they beat the fucking French. So I'm not that fucking ignorant, alright? Capisci? Capiche. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are in the description below. Keep it metal. Have an excellent day, everybody. Salut!